Everybody thought that was the bomb. Turns out, it was only the warning shot. Because what Todd Tucker did next didn't feel like gossip, and it didn't land like a rumor. This was something heavier, darker. The kind of reveal that doesn't just expose people. It changes how you see everything you thought you knew. The moment Todd entered that press room with lenses flashing and voices scrambling, the energy shifted. This wasn't a TV personality walking into cameras. This was a man walking into war. His posture wasn't nervous. His face didn't waver. His stare didn't flinch. He took his place behind the microphone the way a man does when he's already died once, and came back with nothing left to lose. And then he dropped 7 words that detonated across the entertainment world. I'm filing a $60 million lawsuit. Now. Time froze. No gasps. No typing. No background noise. Just silence, thick enough to choke on. And then came the moment that made the silence turn to shock. Todd raised one sheet of paper. Not a letter. Not a contract. Not a statement. A test. A DNA test. And as cameras zoomed and hearts raced, one name punched straight through the noise like an earthquake through glass. Juan Clark. Suddenly, the forgotten moments weren't forgotten. The odd exchanges weren't harmless. The rumors weren't wild anymore. Everything clicked, fast and violently. This wasn't damage control. This wasn't a narrative shift. This was an explosion. If you think you've been watching the full story, you haven't. You think the worst part already happened. It didn't. And if you believe this is where the chaos ends, hold on tight. Because this isn't the fallout. This is the impact. Brace yourself. Because the second Todd Tucker spoke after that DNA shockwave, Hollywood didn't just react. It shifted. Not a rumor ripple. Not a trending hiccup. A full-scale rupture. Like every polished interview, every forced smile, every carefully edited Bravo frame suddenly cracked from the inside. The truth had been suffocating for years, and now it was loose. And it wasn't gentle. The fallout was savage. Timelines refreshed like heartbeat monitors. Gossip channels moved faster than facts. Old clips were autopsied frame by frame. Smiles slowed. Glances enlarged. Conversations rewound and re-examined like surveillance footage. But nothing matched the destructive power of what Todd did next. He faced the cameras like a man already stripped of mercy. No warmth. No hesitation. No softness left. Exhaustion etched his face, but his voice burned like it had waited years to be lit. The world braced for denial. For tears. For spin. Instead, he declared war. I'm filing a $60 million lawsuit against Candy Burris. The room didn't react. It exploded. Cameras clashed. Voices collided. Phones flew into hands. Producers barked into headsets. And across the internet, shockwaves hit before anyone could even breathe out the number. Then silence. Todd raised a single sheet of paper like a judge holding the fate of a nation. Not a statement. Not a defense. Not a denial. A verdict. A DNA report. And when the lenses zoomed closer, one name burned through every screen like acid. Juan Clark. Not a stranger. Not a nobody. Not a rumor ghost. A man inside the inner circle. A trusted face. A quiet constant. A part of her world the audience never questioned. Until now. In 1 second, a decade collapsed. Todd didn't flinch. He didn't shake. He didn't beg. He inhaled like holding back a lifetime. She had 2 lives, he said. One with me, and one with him. It wasn't what he said. It was how little he felt saying it. Cold. Final. Ruined. This wasn't acting. This was autopsy. For years, he continued, she let me believe those kids were mine. She let me father them. Raise them. Protect them. Love them. And through everything, she knew. No breaths in the room. No questions formed. Only shock, heavy and absolute. Because this wasn't cheating. This was architecture. A lie built through birthdays. Quiet mornings. Hospital visits. Family photos. First words. Last hugs before school. Every inch of it, constructed on a secret. Todd lifted the report again. His hand trembling, not with weakness but buried rage. She told me Ace was mine. She told me Blaze was mine. Looked me in the eyes and said it without blinking. And I believed her. He swallowed hard. Because that's what husbands do. The silence turned feral. And this, he whispered, this is what trust gets you. Online the world fractured. This isn't real. Juan? My whole body is cold. I can't watch this. Todd deserved better. This is devastating. But Todd was far from finished. He leaned into the mic like he was ready to tear something down. I wasn't just betrayed, he said. I was used. I was a mask for the public. A prop to sell perfection. A shield for lies. People cried in comment sections. Strangers mourned with him. Because this wasn't spectacle anymore. It was a public collapse. She built something with him behind my back, he continued, while I paid for the life, held the pressure, carried the weight, and she gave him what she told me was sacred. No volume, no drama, just impact. The cameras caught everything, the jaw tightening, the eyes burning, the moment where his face almost collapsed, and didn't. 11 years, he said quietly. I gave her 11 years. Defended her name. Protected her image. Took every hit meant for her. His voice darkened. And she paid me back with silence. Every word sank. And you want to know what destroys me the most? He asked. I saw the signs. A pause long enough to break hearts. I ignored them. I blamed myself. Told myself I was crazy, paranoid, weak. Then, I wasn't. Every instinct, every doubt, every moment his chest tightened with something wrong, was true. And in that second, Todd wasn't just exposing a marriage. He was speaking to anyone who ever swallowed the truth, just to keep love alive. I watched them, he admitted. No hands touching, no kisses, no obvious lines crossed. But you don't need a body to be touched to know it's already gone. You know when someone's heart has packed up and left, when they look at somebody else the way they used to look at you. He stopped again, breathing through something heavy and invisible, like the air itself was pressing against his chest. That night, in the hotel, he continued under his breath, that's when it split in two. The way they stood together, it wasn't business. It wasn't convenience. It wasn't coincidence. It was comfort. It was memory. It was something that had been alive long before I noticed it. And that's when I understood, I'd never been the main character in my own marriage. A voice somewhere in the crowd whispered, "Oh my God." Todd never lifted his head. He didn't need to. The words kept falling anyway, slow and heavy like ruins hitting the floor. "I wasn't her husband," he said flatly. "I was her disguise." Online, the internet fell apart in real time. People weren't just watching, they were unraveling. Screenshots flew. Lives popped up. Group chats flooded. Tears were typed. Rage was posted. Shock spread faster than the story itself. This wasn't trending anymore, it was swallowing everything. Todd placed both hands on the podium and locked eyes with every lens in front of him. Eyes that looked like they hadn't slept in years even when he had. "This case isn't about a number," he said. "It's about consequence. It's about what betrayal really costs. It's about time I can never buy back. And it's about a truth those children should have never had to learn like this." Then he stepped away. No farewell. No explanation. No performance. Just a man walking out of the life he thought was real. Behind him, chaos ignited. In front of him, nothing waited. Inside him, everything was on fire. And everyone watching felt it in their bones. This wasn't closure. This wasn't the ending. This was ignition. And the blaze hadn't even started yet. The shockwave from Todd Tucker's declaration didn't disappear by sunrise, it multiplied. Each hour peeled back another layer, revealing damage no one was ready to face. This was no longer a scandal. This was a slow-motion collapse the world couldn't stop watching. And Todd, he didn't run from it. He stood in the middle of the wreckage and let the fire find him. By morning, the street outside his house looked like a film set. Cameras stacked. Vans lined up. Reporters whispering like predators waiting for movement inside. Not because he was famous, but because he'd ripped the curtain away from a story powerful enough to sink the entire Bravo universe. Every network wanted his face. Every producer wanted his next sentence. But Todd said nothing. He sat near a window, eyes pointed nowhere, his fingers tapping against his leg. Not with impatience, but like he was counting the seconds until something inside him caved. No tears came. Not this time. His stare was hollow in a way only truth can make someone. Not grief, realization. The kind that comes when you discover you've been living inside a life that was never yours to begin with. And while he sat in that silence, the world tore itself apart guessing what came next. Fans turned into detectives overnight. Old episodes were reopened like cold cases. That reunion glance she gave Don Juan. The way he always hovered too close behind the scenes. Inside jokes that now felt coded. The loyalty she showed him in public. The discomfort whenever Todd questioned time or distance. Every forgotten clip became evidence. Every ignored moment became warning signs. "How did we not see this?" echoed everywhere. Then Todd finally touched his phone. Not a producer. Not a fan. A voicemail. The voice on the other end broke before it spoke. "Todd, I don't even have words. I'm so sorry. This should have never happened to you. It was someone he loved before any of this. Before cameras. Before applause. Before collapse." He listened to that 20-second message again and again, not because it healed anything, but because for a moment, it reminded him he wasn't insane. Someone had seen the cracks. But sympathy couldn't compete with the noise outside his walls. By midday, commentators had already named it the greatest betrayal in reality television history. Lawsuits were dissected by legal experts. Psychologists debated emotional deception on live panels. Some defended Candy. Others tore her apart. But the internet had its verdict. Protect Todd at all costs. She owes answers. Don Juan better show his face. This isn't drama, this is devastation. This wasn't trending. This was consuming oxygen. That was when Todd stood for the first time. Something in him had shifted. He walked to the shelf where past lives stared back at him in frames. Holidays, birthdays, smiles that now felt poisonous. He lifted one photo, Ace's first birthday, and studied it like it might vanish if he blinked too hard. "They didn't deserve this," he said quietly. The words didn't echo. They sank. He placed the frame back gently, like pressure alone might crush it. And that's when the knock came. Not loud. Not demanding. Careful. Regretful. Todd didn't answer at first. The knocking returned, soft, measured like someone unsure if they had the right to disturb anything at all. When he opened the door, it wasn't media. It wasn't fans. It was someone from his past. Someone who'd been there since the beginning. Someone who knew. "Todd?" they whispered, eyes already drowning. He didn't say anything. He stepped aside. Let them in. They sat across from him, fingers trembling. I should have told you, they confessed. I noticed things. Not everything, but enough. I kept hoping it would end. I kept believing she'd choose you. Todd's face didn't change, but the room did. How long? He asked. The answer cracked in their throat. Years. Whatever was left inside Todd shattered in silence. Todd finally broke the silence, his voice quiet but lethal. You stood there while I built a life with her. You watched me fight for her name. You watched me love those children like they were my own, and you said nothing. The visitor looked down, ashamed. I was afraid. Todd exhaled slowly, his next words slicing deeper than any shout ever could. I was trapped inside a lie, and everyone else could see the walls but me. They didn't stay long. When the door closed behind them, the air inside the house thickened like something had died in it. The betrayal no longer lived in just one place. It echoed in every silence, every memory, every person who chose quiet over truth while watching him disappear. The internet had no idea what just happened inside that living room. But it didn't matter. The avalanche had already started. Another alert flashed across screens. Insiders say Don Juan wiped his phone clean, fans demand answers. Then another. Candy refuses to respond as lawsuit sets media on fire. Then another. Todd's inner circle. He's done being the shield. There's a strange moment before a man breaks, before it's visible, before it's public, when something inside him simply shuts off. Todd had crossed it. He walked into the bedroom and froze. Papers covered the bed. Court filings. Personal notes. Evidence he never thought. I wasn't the husband, he breathed. I was the decoy. Outside, the sunlight bled across the room, stretching shadows along the floor like dark hands searching through what remained of him. Todd didn't move away from them. He welcomed them. Because there was nothing left to guard. Nothing left to preserve. Nothing left to pretend. What came next wasn't approaching. It had already arrived. And the world could feel it tightening around them. Everyone thought the worst had already passed. They were wrong. The real breakdown didn't begin with the microphones or the lawsuit. It began the second Todd Tucker understood there would be no undo button. No rewinds. No repair. No soft landing. Just the naked truth, and whatever it burned down along the way. That night, after the door closed behind the visitor who left him holding a confession he could never unhear, something inside Todd fractured for the last time. Not with noise. Not with drama. With a quiet finality that sliced through him clean. The kind of rupture that straightens a man's shoulders and empties his eyes. The kind that rewrites your heartbeat. Outside, the world refused to blink. Screens glowed. Alerts screamed. People weren't just following updates, they were starving for them. They didn't just want details. They needed answers. Needed to understand how a couple packaged as perfection could collapse into something this violent. But inside Todd's home, time felt embalmed. Heavy. Uncut. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring into the lowest corner of the room like it might confess first. When his voice finally broke the silence, it barely existed, but it filled everything anyway. How long was I supposed to stay blind? No one answered. The question wasn't aimed at anyone living. It was aimed at whatever had decided his fate before he ever saw it coming. And the pain didn't ease. It multiplied. Beyond those walls, chaos ran wild. Gossip pages abandoned sleep. Hashtags climbed into the millions like flames scaling buildings. Even celebrities who usually vanished from messes like this started voicing shock. Calling it one of the darkest implosions television has ever seen. Every hour unearthed something new. Another clip. Another moment. Another crack in the version of the marriage people thought they'd watched for years. Someone resurfaced an old backstage video. Don Juan wrapping Candy in a hug while Todd stood just feet away, invisible. Another fan dug up a long-forgotten interview where Candy had been asked who she trusted most in the industry. Her answer? Don Juan. She didn't even glance at her husband. That clip alone broke 10 million views before dawn. Fans began stitching history together with fury and precision. And suddenly, the past looked suspicious. Inside his home, Todd rose slowly, like gravity itself had risen up to move him. He walked down the hallway until he reached a framed photo of Candy holding Ace. She was smiling the way she always had. Except now. It felt rehearsed. He touched the glass with trembling fingers. I believed this, he whispered. I believed all of it. The breath that followed scraped the inside of him raw. He stepped into another room, the one stuffed with boxes from old chapters. Tour badges. Gift bags. Letters from fans. Souvenirs from a life that suddenly looked staged. He opened one box and pulled out a birthday card she'd once written by hand. Beautiful words then. Weapons now. He read one line twice. You are the only man I trust more than anyone. His lips curved almost instinctively. But it wasn't laughter. It was disbelief dressed as breath. Heartbreak with teeth. He dropped the letter back into the box. It landed with a sound too loud for paper. At the same moment, his phone vibrated. Not a friend. Not the press. Production. A message lit the screen. Everything's erupting. They're asking if you'll do a sit-down. Full story. Uncut. Todd didn't blink. He didn't rush. He stared at the words until something colder than anger settled into his chest. Not revenge. Not rage. Control. The need to take the story back before it buried him alive. He typed 2 words. Only 2. I'm ready. Across the city, producers moved like a SWAT team preparing a raid. Lights were secured. Sets were rushed into place. But before Todd could even take a step toward that chair, Another explosion hit. A leak. No warning. No source. Just 12 seconds of sound that burned across the internet like gasoline on flame. A voice. Familiar. Strained. Worn thin. I can't lie about this anymore. That's all it took. Nobody knew where it came from. Nobody knew who pressed record. But it didn't matter. The clip existed. And once something exists online, it becomes immortal. Was it Candy? Was it Don Juan? Was it someone closer than anyone imagined? The internet collapsed into theory. Every blog went live. Every influencer tried to claim discovery. Voice analysts appeared overnight. Fans compared pitch, tone, breath. 12 seconds became 12 million arguments. Inside his house, Todd played the audio once. Then again. His face didn't change. Not shock. Recognition. Another piece cracking loose from a wall he always knew was fake. He whispered to no one, "It's happening." Whatever had been buried wasn't staying there much longer. And then, the next strike landed. A statement released from a national outlet. A source within Candy's inner circle is preparing to speak. Not may. Not could. Preparing. Everything. The word logic couldn't survive. Everything. Todd sank into a chair, slowly, like the weight finally had gravity enough to pull him down. He had always known the truth was bigger than one person. This wasn't a mistake. It was infrastructure. A system. A reality built from omission. And for the briefest second, something unexpected stirred in him. Sympathy. Then it drowned. Because pain has a way of consuming mercy. Morning came with another message. No timestamp. No number. Just a sentence. You didn't imagine any of it. He read it again. And again. Outside, cameras stacked tighter. Crowds grew louder. Names were shouted. Opinions hurled. Inside, Todd finally spoke aloud. She ended me, and now her world is about to meet the truth. Then the phone, his lawyer's number. Do you still want to proceed? They asked. Todd's reply didn't even need breath. Absolutely. He walked toward the window and looked out at the chaos waiting for him. The flashes. The questions. The hunger in their voices. The truth asked for daylight, he said quietly. And now it has it. In that moment, something settled across the world like frost. Todd Tucker wasn't chasing revenge. He was dismantling a fortress. And whatever stood behind it was about to be seen. This story isn't cooling off. It's mutating. Growing fangs where there used to be silence. What started as whispers has turned into a full-scale unraveling, dragging secrets out of hiding that were never supposed to breathe. Todd Tucker didn't just step into daylight. He shattered the glass around an entire illusion built on camera smiles, scripted perfection, and truths locked behind closed doors for years. Now those lies are crawling into the open, louder and uglier with every drop, and the people who once controlled the picture are running out of darkness to disappear into. Every hour brings turbulence. Every day another fault line splits wide. The double lives, the quiet bargains, the looks that said too much, the words that said nothing, all of it is crashing inward at the same time. This stopped being drama a long time ago. What you're watching now is a man fighting to take back fragments of a life that was stolen piece by piece, while millions hold their breath and feel something breaking with him. And if you've stayed with this story this long, you already know, this is nowhere near finished. There are still mouths that haven't spoken, screens that haven't lit up, names that haven't been said aloud, people in the shadows who know exactly what happened, and haven't decided yet whether they're going to protect the lie or expose it. When they do, the impact won't be quiet. So don't scroll past this. Don't tune out. Don't assume the worst has already happened. Everything you've heard so far is just the setup. The next reveal is the one that changes everything. Turn on alerts. Stay right here. Because the truth isn't slowing down. It's loading. And when it hits, nothing in this story will survive the same way again.